a look at the SH4 Gen 2 6-24x50 Arken. I do have it cranked up to its max power, 24 power. I got my diopter set just perfectly. I'm picking up some decent mirage.
Howdy guys, Rex here. Most of you know that for a long time I've been waiting to find a scope in the less than $500 range that really fits the bill for shooters that are looking for something affordable that also has a lot of those long-range precision shooting features that higher dollar scopes have. And that's a difficult order, especially if you're looking for a zero stop, if you're looking for a scope with variable magnification with a reticle placed in the first focal plane with illumination, along with all the same quality parameters that you need to make it work in a rugged and reliable fashion. That's hard to find, and until now, I don't think I was able to honestly say I can find anything for less than $500 that would feature all those different things and still be affordable. And so, as most of you know, I was a big fan of the SWFA Super Sniper for a long time because of its reliability. In terms of its price range, it was a very good option. It was a fixed 10 power, but it didn't have a lot of those other features. Magnification being variable with the first focal plane reticle is very, very desirable for long-range shooting. So is a zero stop, a decently built zero stop. Also, maintaining quality control parameters to offer such a scope with any degree of reliability or precision tracking is very difficult to do in that price range. And those of you that have attended any of my training seminars or any of our live fire classes, you're probably well versed in the different challenges that are presented in trying to offer a scope with all those features that actually works. However, in the market of long-range precision shooting, there's really been a lot more enthusiasm than has ever been seen before. And with the new market pressure, there's been a lot of different companies that have stepped up to the plate and started trying to compete for that price slot, although no one's really met that price slot and offered all those features in a way that works in real life until now. And so when I first was introduced to Arken Optics USA, I was, I have to admit, pretty skeptical after looking at the amount of features they have and considering the price. I thought there's absolutely no way they could offer that in anything that would actually work. I was actually able to watch Arken Optics kind of evolve from their first prototypes, going through their first generation of scopes, which actually were pretty darn nice. And now we are on Gen 2 of the SH series. The SH series is their more affordable scope line that they're offering. And it's actually a very, very nicely put together scope. I'm going to share with you the unboxing video, but I'm here to tell you, before we get started, that after checking this thing out, we did the turret graduation precision tracking test on the Truth Stick, and it actually came out to be well within industry standards, actually beating out a lot of scopes that are over $2,000 and even over $3,000. The Arken SH series actually had less than 1% tracking error that we could discern, and that's actually very good. I've seen a lot of scopes over $3,000 that are over 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4% tracking error. So that's actually very, very, very good. The first thing I was curious about and the biggest worry I had in a scope in this price range was its reliability and its ruggedness. And so the first thing I did when I got this thing out of the box and inspected it, I put it on the M82 Barret. And after hammering more rounds than I can really handle with my nervous system and more rounds than I can afford, the scope actually held together. So I was actually quite surprised to see that. I was expecting something would come loose at some point of that testing phase. I wanted to, if it was going to break, I wanted to just get it over with so that I wouldn't waste too much ammo. So I went straight to the heavy forward bolt impulse of the Barret to see if it would hold up. And also during the middle of my testing, I was able to talk to one of my friends who I didn't even know had ordered a Arken Optics SH series scope, and he had it on his air rifle for quite a while, and he's been using it to take game for quite a while with it, and it has not gave him any problems at all. So if it can hold up to an air rifle, you can know it's actually a very well-designed rugged scope. If it can hold up to a piston air rifle, it's going to be able to hold up to any kind of conventional rifle you're going to have. So I was very pleased with the ruggedness of the optic. We did move it over to the Steyr SSG 08A1 and do some of our trick shooting. I like to run a drill with 9mm casings. I lay them out there and I try to center punch them. The reticle was very fine for that application. Some people might think it's a bit on the fine side, although the reticle does feature some thicker crosses towards the center dot, which will kind of help you get lined up in a more hasty shot. But this scope definitely is more on the precision shooting end of the spectrum in terms of the fineness of the reticle. Something that I actually prefer for what I do out here where I'm at. If you're going to be kicking doors, you're trying to use this as more of a multi-role scope, the reticle might be a bit on the fine side, but with the illumination turned on, it might actually work. The scope does feature a threaded sunshade, which is a feature I think is actually very, very useful. And throughout the testing, there's nothing we could find that didn't work properly in a variety of conditions. We did test it in the cold weather, sub-freezing temperatures. Everything was still able to function properly. The turrets operated very nicely. This scope is a bit more nicely and a bit more snugly put together than the first generation SH series, which was very, very, very easy to operate in super cold weather, but this one still functions fine. So now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features this thing offers.
Rex here. Today we're going to take our first look at a new model scope that just came in yesterday. I wanted it to be fresh for you guys so I could see what we're looking at here. This is from Arken Optics USA. And if I remember correctly, this is their new SH series in a 34mm main tube that's very, very affordable. Get to the optic in a minute. This looks like a mount, 34mm, 20 minute of angle, 1.5 height, I would assume. Let's take a look at that. Okay, that actually looks pretty nice. Okay, so it's aluminum. Look at that. That is brilliant. 18 inch-pounds written on there. 20 minute of angle, clearly labeled. And which direction it is, I like this. Dreadfully obvious. And we got a pretty good sized Torx head screw that is the same size as the rings on top. We got 4 per ring. The inside is not like rough or contoured or anything, but it does have a matte finish. That should work just fine. And it feels like it's pretty stout. We do have the 3 lugs here for locking into the Steyr rail, the Picatinny. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Now Arken, they're working on a lot of other projects as well. And I've known the guys for a little while. I've actually been kind of working with them a little bit. When they first started doing optics and just basic, kind of helping with like what are some of the basic parameters that would be looked for in a budget optic in terms of like normal people. What would be the standards they would want in, you know, like what features and what standards would they hold to those features. And so far they've knocked it out of the park. So this Arken SH4 Gen 2. Huh? What does this say? I'm trying to read backwards. HD glass, first focal plane reticle, 0 stop, 50 BMG rated. Oh, sorry, 50 BMG rated, fog proof and waterproof. Kind of cool, huh? Trying to get it out. It's a very tight sealed box. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's how it comes packaged, at least to me. I do believe that this is one of the first models that the other guys took a look at as well. So I will just take this out of here. It does have an instruction manual. Excellent. Okay. We got it packaged in such a way to where, man, it's got a little bit of heft to it, which I actually like. Weight is indicative of a high quality precision instrument in general. Sunshade, ocular cover. I'm not going to know how to put that back in there ever. All right, so let's just take a look at the outside here. So the general proportions and configuration seems pretty standard. We do have a little bit of a tapered ocular here. So it's a little wider here than it is here. It's kind of like the Hensoldt style contour. The objective lens comes out. We got kind of a green tint on the objective lens. Coating is the color it appears. Okay, this is a minute of angle version. So this is a 0.25 minute of angle clicks. And the zero stop is right here. This is a feature I like to see more, is coming out more and more. But you basically, once you get the scale slipped to zero, you just screw that in, and then it's a good, solid, very simple zero stop. So we got zero, very clearly marked. You see the two little arrows there. So when you're spinning through, you can count your revolutions, and it comes up. Has a different feel than the original SH series. Just as defined, a little bit more spaced between clicks, it feels like, if my memory serves me correctly. And it goes all the way up to 18, 19, and 20. Okay, that's cool. So you have 20 per turn. It's an even number, so it's easier to count. 21, etc. And you have two sets of numbers. You have the original set down here for the first turn, and your double turn has all the way up here. So this one went up to 26 from where it was. Let's come back all the way down. Okay, it has a lot more adjustment. I'm going to take her down to bottom. So she's now on bottom. And we have the indexing mark for where we're at the bottom. And as you can see, there's ladders here that show you where you're at in your adjustment range. Okay. 1 revolution. 2. 3. 4. Okay, so we had 4 times 20. What's that? Right? 80? 6, it appears, is where she bottomed out. If my counting is proper. And on the windage, okay, you got 0. And you have right and left clearly marked. All the way up to, well, look at that, 10. That's cool. And it actually goes past that, which I don't mind. Sometimes you need a lot more windage than you think. So you can go past the maximum windage showed on the dial. Gives you more flexibility. Of course, you'd have to remember there's a little ladder feature here. It'll show you where the center is. If you see the longer line, I would assume that's your 0 because it says 0 on it. I like stuff where you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. I do. Okay, this looks like where they fill their nitrogen or argon or whatever they're using to fill it. Nitrogen is a special element. Ask me sometime in private, I'll explain it to you. Why is the sky blue, Rex? Because of nitrogen and other things. Okay, so here's kind of just pointing out, so we got the SH4 Gen 2 clearly marked on here. This is 6-24x50. Let's try putting on the sunshade. Oh, gosh darn it, I almost forgot the other side. Okay, so we got parallax and illumination. So your parallax does have numbers on this. That's good to have for a reference point. Of course, parallax, you usually have to check it visually. We show you how to do that at the ARX 100 and 1000 classes, okay? But we have it marked like so to infinity, 500, 300, 200, 150, and then underneath. You can actually get pretty darn 30, 25. Cool, so you can shoot at your 25 meter target for basic zeroing. And for practicing, there's a lot of practicing you can do at 25 meters, like dry practice. Set up your little toy army guys out there. Seriously. Your little tanks, build a little model town out there. run through your drills. And we have illumination. I'm going to look through it, okay? I'm going to set the parallax for, I reckon, about 50. A very fine aiming point. Like a really fine aiming point. Man, let me crank her all the way up to 24. Yeah, at 24 power, it's still a very fine dot. And then you have crosses coming off in all four directions that are thicker. Seems like pretty decent glass. And the turrets, elevation and traverse both feel like the same mechanism. Robust is what it feels like. Looks like we got a Allen head screws to slip the scales. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I actually like that. Very cool. All right, guys, stand by for, we're gonna mount this up.
Okay, guys, if you want to get your foot in the door before the prices inevitably go up, I heard that the demand is actually quite high for these. I was told that after Black Friday, which is in a few days, at the time of this recording, they're going to have to up the price. I don't know how much they're going to up it. I can't imagine how the scope is going to stay below the $500 threshold for very long with all the different features it offers and with the ruggedness and performance of it. But if you do want to get it for, I believe it's around $400, maybe a little under $400 right now, go ahead and use the links below. It does help out the Rex Reviews project. I was lucky enough to kind of participate in the project early on when they were trying to determine what the market demands in terms of a long-range precision rifle scope. I did try my best to communicate what our community is looking for in a budget rifle scope, and I was very surprised to see that they actually delivered all the different features we talked about for a price point lower than $500. And so if you guys want to check it out and help me verify that these things are in fact working properly, it takes more than one sample size to really pin it down. This thing is looking very promising. All the other ones I've had the pleasure to use so far have actually worked surprisingly well considering the price. And so I think this is going to be probably the new contender in this price range for maybe quite a while. So I hope this was helpful to anybody looking for a good, decent, rugged budget optic for less than $500. Of course, if you like this video, let me know. I will continue to kind of share the story as I continue testing. I'll be using this optic quite a bit more in the future. And just let us know what you think in the commentaries. Please subscribe and hit the like button if you dug this video. And we'll catch you on the flip side.